Hello and welcome once again to the LOR Online League brought to you by Tarmac Works. And we are virtually, I really wish we were in Misano, but yes, virtually in Misano. I'm Idris and this is JV Live. Now, you like Misano a lot, don't you?
Oh, Misano is such a great track. So we are in round 2 and here we are at Misano. 4.226 kilometers, 16 turns. And now one part of the track I would like to highlight actually is the number of straights there are. There's one main straight, there's another straight, and then there's another very, very long straight which leads to a heartbreaking hairpin of turns 13 and 14. Now that will be very interesting because they're going at very high speed to a hairpin while turning, so that will be a little bit tricky, and once you get that wrong you might spin off.
That's right, it is a very interesting track, a lot of high speed straights and also low speed, mid speed kind of corners, so it will be interesting. GT3 class as usual like the previous round. Now this is the entry list. The entry list is of course the same. Now you do have some of our favorite drivers of which we will talk about later on. But let's go through the drivers' standings as of now, because we saw as the race beforehand, it was quite impressive from JMX Phantom. Now, it was a very interesting race, wasn't it? Because Fadli Rahmat was handling or staying in P1 for a good amount of time, and in fact, there wasn't a massive battle for P1 and P2. It was shared with, well, the team at JMX Phantom. But there was a back marker which got in the way, and Avila Baha went into P1, so of course good for them.
That was extremely unfortunate, but we have to take note that JMX has been very dominant in round 1, basically leading the entire race in P1 and P2. Of course, without the incident, Fadli Rahmat could have won. But do take note, Nigel Chua and Russell Reyes, who are just behind, they are very close, and I'm pretty sure they are fighting for the win today.
That's right, JMX Phantom, very, very strong. Now let's go into, well, the amateur standings. Now, this is quite interesting. We do have an amateur class in this race. What do you think?
I think these guys, they are still pretty new to sim racing, I guess, to be in the amateur class. They are, of course, slowly working their way up, learning what they can from the pros. And as we can see, Gerald Lim here doing a very fantastic job back in round 1, followed by Fikri Askar from Y-Lab E-Racing to come number 2.
That's right. Now let's go into the Nations Cup standings. Now, before anything, I must mention that the Indonesians are very strong. JMX Phantom, of course, taking P1 and P2, and they are based in Indonesia, but as expected, they are taking P1 in the standings. But I must mention about Thailand. Now, I do understand that there is only one Thai racer.
Yes, and that would be Thanatip Thanalapanan, who is the only driver for Thailand, obviously doing a very good job finishing P5 in the last race to finish in a very good points position for Thailand to be in 5th right now. And as you know, the top 2 most amount of points for each country will add to the Nations Cup. And for Thailand to be coming in 5th, that is pretty phenomenal.
That's right, Thanatip did come 5th himself in the driver standings, as you know. We just went through one round, so the numbers make a lot of sense. Now, we are going into qualifying. We are looking at the pro class right now. It is the pro class right now. Russell Reyes is leading the charts as of now, and we got about 11 minutes left into qualifying before we go racing.
Yep, I think the pros are just finishing their out laps and are starting their hot laps now. Obviously, we have Russell Reyes, who has already set a time of a 1:33.561 to go fastest, with Arwin Taruna just behind, just 0.102 seconds away. We have still yet to see Fadli Rahmat and Avila Baha set a time. Nigel Chua as well, obviously, who finished 3rd in that last race. Very, very strong result, but I'm pretty sure this guy will definitely be looking for a win. He is in the Mercedes, driving for the Moon Eyes Tarmac car. A very, very interesting car, very bright, very nice. What do you think?
Yes, I love the Moon Eyes livery. I'm a big fan of Moon Eyes myself. I think they have a very cool culture behind the whole Moon Eyes outfit. And of course, earlier on we saw Andy Wan in the amateur class. Now, I think he did quite well. Looking at the numbers, I think did he qualify first? We will check that later on. But yes, that livery is very nice. Now we are looking at Avila Baha. He was, of course, in P1 in the standings also, and as well as the race beforehand. Well, we only had one round, so of course the driver standings as well as the positions of the last race will make a lot of sense. Now that livery is also not too shabby, and I do like how the 720S looks. It is quite a good looking GT3 car.
The 720S is actually really fast. You know, if you compare it to the Bentley and the Mercedes, you know, these are basically the top cars, the OP cars, you would say. Yeah, so you would naturally see them at the front. Although I would like to think maybe it's just the drivers, and I'm pretty sure it is the drivers. If you try to put them in like a different car, say a Lexus or a Honda, I'm pretty sure they will do just as well. But because of you know how the cars are balanced. You know, I think the Mercedes, the McLarens, and the Bentleys are still gonna be somewhat in front. Just, you know, they would have a better chance in, say, a McLaren.
Yes, I would think so. But it's very interesting because in Misano you have how many? About four main straights, you would say. I wouldn't say main straights, but really long straights.
Yep, actually, as we see Avila Baja coming onto one of these straights here, you have to be very careful with the exit here though. If you run a little bit too wide, you might get a cut track warning. Now, once you get 3 cut track warnings and then you get a 4th one, you will have to serve a drive-through penalty. And the pits here in Misano are relatively long, so I would not fancy a drive-through penalty. And if you do enter the pits at any point, I think you might be in a little bit of trouble because this is a 30-minute sprint race. If you pit, there's really no point in pitting because there's no need for a pit stop in 30 minutes. And so you would try as best as possible to stay out of the pits.
That's right. So there is no reason to pit, of course, in this race as it follows. In the rulings, there is no need for pits, of course. So you have to do a drive-through penalty or even a stop-go. It is very unfortunate. In fact, in the last race, I noticed that a lot of drivers seem to have given up towards the end of the race. So it was quite interesting. Now, we are halfway through qualifying and we are looking at some numbers right now. Of course, Baja is leading. JMX is doing very well. Avila Baja, top spot. But do you think that perhaps some of the drivers below will catch up? Russell Reyes maybe?
I think we are still waiting for Fadli Rahmat to set a decent lap time because I don't think P14 is the best that he can do. We all know Fadli Rahmat to be a very fast driver, so I think he still has yet to set a clean lap. He is only 1 second off, but I'm pretty sure he will climb back up sooner or later.
That's right, I'm looking at Russell Reyes because I think that he might push for a very good timing. It seems like during the race, at least last round, he seems to be able to keep up, and I'm very interested to know what he will do next.
Now let's take a look at Nigel Troy and Russell Reyes. Actually, both of them finished P3 and P4 respectively in round 1. And here they are in P2 and P3 in qualifying right now. Very good result. They are in the front row. Nigel Troy obviously in the front row with Avila Baja. Russell Reyes and Thanatip Thanalapanan in the second row. Thanatip as well, setting a very good time. He's only 2 tenths off.
Yeah, I love how you pronounce Thanatip's name.
Thanatip Thanalapanan. It's quite long, huh?
Yes, that's right. I think and I have to give mad props to him because he is the only Thai driver here, and in the Nations Cup standings, he's actually doing very well.
Definitely serving his nation well.
That's right. Congratulations to him. I think that he will do quite well in this race also. Now, thing is, I have not seen the NSX yet. Now, wait a minute. Thanatip is doing a little bit of an excursion, or he went back to the pits, as we possibly would expect, because he has done quite a significant time already.
Now we are taking a look at Sam Hill, the fastest of the Lamborghinis so far. He is P7 for Barbell Motorsport. He is 6 tenths off. Oh, he has just been beaten. He is now down to P8, but I'm pretty sure he is on his hot lap right now. Let's see if he can improve.
That's right. Now, thing is, in Misano, when you look at the camera work, you get a little bit confused sometimes. You might think that this is Barcelona.
That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, if you notice, a lot of the Italian tracks, they are quite patriotic. You can always see the red and the green and the white all over these Italian tracks. Imola as well. Imola is also running the same color scheme. So very patriotic, these tracks.
That's right. Yes, I do agree. But I do love how Misano is because it's a real good mix of very slower speed corners, mid-speed corners, and very, very fast straightaways. It is quite entertaining again, especially in this last corner. There's a lot of slowing down that you can do. Now,
Fadli Rahman, look at that. Oh, is Fadli Rahman going for his hot lap right now? He is P16. Not sure he'll be happy with that result if he stayed there, but I'm pretty sure he is going for his hot lap right now. He is just behind Andy Ngan in P15, but I think this is his hot lap. I think there's only 4 minutes left. There's not much time left to be setting many laps. I think you can only do about 2 laps within 4 minutes.
Yes, I'm pretty sure there is.
2 or 3 laps.
And there is a countdown right after that, right? It's 2 minutes also, but I don't think there's enough time. So I'm pretty sure he's going for his hot lap right now. And I think he has quite a lot of, well, he's quite clear. The road is quite clear up ahead for him. So that should be quite interesting.
Nigel Choi is just about to cross the line. Is he going to improve his time? No, he stays the same. He is 0.174 behind P1, but we have Fadli Rahman who is still making his way around the circuit to finish his hot lap. Now this is another one of the straights. This is actually the fastest straight on this track. Again, let's take a look at the last 2 corners over here at the end of the straight. This part here, you have to get your braking just right, because if you brake wrongly, you will spin off, because they always say you have to brake in a straight line, and obviously you have to, especially over here, because if you try and brake and turn at the same time at such a high speed, you will spin off.
That's right. And well, I wonder what will happen next, or rather in the race itself later on, because these are 45 cars about race. Let's see how it does. He's going. There we go. He's going into P1. This is surprising. I'm not too sure if he's going for another hot lap. Perhaps he might, but no, he's slowing down. Yeah, he's taking a little bit of an excursion over there.
He's leaving the best for last, isn't he?
It is, but it is still 3 minutes left, and we don't know if anyone will actually push for more. Now, Nigel Chua does look like he's going at race pace right now, or qualifying pace. It should be quite interesting.
We're running a little bit wide there.
That's right. Now, do you think that it will trigger the track limit warnings if you start to exit?
I find it a little bit tricky here at Misano, because there is a lot of runoff. So the drivers might want to exploit that, but you don't want to exploit it too much, because if you exploit it too much, you will get a cut track warning. And it's very easy to get one here. All you have to do is get all 4 tires off the white line, and you will get one cut track warning, which is not very good.
It's almost immediately, isn't it?
Yep.
Right? There's no like waiting time or anything like that. Immediately a Assetto Corsa does throw up the track warning. Nigel Chua early on, as you saw, just crossed the line. Unfortunately, he still is in P3. I am not too sure if it, I'm pretty sure he's going for another hot lap. So perhaps you might see something from him.
This is like a recreation of round 1. Look, we've got Fadli Rahman in P1, Avila Bahar in P2, Nigel Chua in P3, and Russell Wilson in P4. Exactly like how it was in round 1.
That's right. So we don't know if there will be a back marker later on. So that should be quite interesting. Because it seems, especially for JMX Phantom and Avila Bahar and Fadli Rahman, that's the only thing that affected them during the race. And that's great, because losing a place to a teammate is much better than losing a place to perhaps Nigel Chua or somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, now let's take a look at Jay Wong. We are riding on board here with the Porsche. We have the 2 fastest Singaporeans here. We've got Thasby in P6 and Jay Wong in P7. So obviously, competing for the Nations Cup here, Thasby and Jay Wong. Jay Wong has just completed his hot lap. I don't think he improved. He is still P7.
That's right. And speaking of the Nations Cup, of course, in P2 and P3, only 1 point is separating Malaysia from Singapore. So with fast Singaporean drivers that you mentioned earlier, it should be quite interesting later on. But we'll see how it goes. Now, less than a minute left to qualifying. There will be a countdown timer, and we will go racing really, really, very, very soon. So, do you think that you'll see anything particularly interesting in the last 45 seconds of this qualifying?
There's still a lot of time left to set your final hot lap. As we see Alexis Clapano, he's just gone off. I think he's just built his final hot lap. He definitely won't have enough time to set another hot lap though. Yeah. As we take a look at this fantastic view of turn 1.
That's right. That should be interesting. That view especially will be very interesting later on. Apparently, in the last race, or rather not apparently, for real, there was quite a bit of chaos. We missed it out in the live broadcast, but you will definitely get to see what's going on later on. 45 cars, 44, 45 cars. Going into turn 1, it should be pretty interesting.
I'm not so sure if there will be chaos again. There was actually chaos at the back in
Yes.
round 1, which I think we did not manage to catch. There was a huge crash at the back, although it was pretty clean for the guys at the front.
That's right, it was very clean for the guys in front, and it is the same pretty much in this race with Fadli Rahmat taking P1 and well,
Fadli Rahman is the only driver so far to have set a 132. Avila Baha is in 133. All the other drivers are in 133. So far, only Fadli Rahman has been into the 132s, obviously showing very strong pace.
Alright, so let us take a little break before we go racing, of course. Now, we have something from our sponsors, Motul, so stick around and we will go into the racing. That's right, we are going into racing very soon. Now let's look a little bit at TikTok. Now the thing is, we have a comment here from AJXBGB. Do you have any idea how to pronounce it? Basically, this guy says, he or she says, is this real life?
Now you would think it's real life, isn't it? The graphics have been pretty good. ACC is very good in terms of graphics as compared to the other games like Assetto Corsa or R Factor 2. ACC does have one of the better graphics, but no, this is not real life. We are in a racing game.
Yes, but we are not really, well, two of us aren't, but we are watching a racing game, of course.
Yes.
Well, as you can tell, all the fellas are lined up, 44, 45 cars here at Misano. Now, thankfully, Misano seems to support, visually at least, the amount of cars that we have in this online league. If you remember previously in Nürburgring, it was quite chaotic, isn't it? Just looking at the amount of cars that are lined up on the main straight. And if I remember correctly, some cars were, well, at the last corner, it was quite a long queue. If you remember, it actually
I think
reminds
some
me.
drivers actually struggled to get on the main straight by
That's
the
right.
time the guys at the front have already crossed the line.
That's right, that reminds me a lot about the Nürburgring 24 hour, the real life Nürburgring 24 hour. If you remember, there was a weather issue of fog.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of fog, wasn't there?
There was a lot of fog, of course, and in that situation, all the cars were actually parked on the track. So it was very interesting, especially, you know, not many of us actually watched the full 24 hours Nürburgring. So to tune in and see everyone parked on the main straight and, well, the amount of cars, well, over 100 cars, isn't it, of participants, all waiting on the main straight. And
The most expensive car park you would ever see, I
yes,
guess.
very expensive car park. My favorite has to be the Dacia Logan. That wasn't the most expensive
Oh, the
car.
Dacia was basically the underdog. You know, some guys on social media were actually saying, you know, what if the Dacia actually went for the shorter layout? Because, you know, for the Nürburgring,
Yes.
they were actually doing the entire notch life one day.
That's
so
right.
yeah, actually some of them were saying, you know, what if the Dacia actually did the shorter layout?
Yes.
So then you compare the laps, you know, would the Dacia actually win?
That's right. It will be quite interesting because, I mean, that of course is the Nürburgring GP layout if it is the small track. And over here, of course, or rather previously in the Nürburgring, it wasn't the Nürburgring 24-hour layout where it was a GP plus Nordschleife. This is, well, that was just a GP track. Here we are at Misano, and of course the cars will go for their formation lap, and it will be a rolling start later on.
The
It could be
drivers
quite
have to
interesting.
press drive, you know, because there's only 20 seconds till the session starts. You know, it could be a common mistake, you know, before some drivers may not be pressing the drive button in time, and they actually get sent back to the pits. So now there's only 7, 6, 5 seconds left. All the drivers have to press drive for them to start the race.
That's right, and it should be quite interesting when we actually go racing. Now this will take a while they go through their formation laps, and it is quite amazing, isn't it, that we are seeing the same first 4 drivers from P1.
First 5 actually, I think.
First 5, yes, that's
Yep.
right. It is quite interesting because you might assume that there would be a difference, right? Perhaps more proficiency in this track would mean one driver being in front of the other, but surprisingly we are keeping with the first 5 drivers from the previous race.
I wonder if JMX will dominate this race again. They are looking very strong in this race as well. Obviously Nigel Troy and Russell Reyes once again trying to compete for the final podium position. Nigel is in the final podium position. He is in P3. Russell Reyes, I wonder what his strategy is going to be. Is Russell Reyes going to sit back and allow Nigel to catch up to Avila Baha and Fadli Rahmat?
Right.
Or is Russell Reyes going to constantly attack Nigel for the final podium position? But of course, as a result, they might drop back from the top 2 guys at the front, and that's not going to be very good. So it really depends on what kind of result Russell Reyes and Nigel Troy are hoping to achieve here. Are they going for podium positions, or or do they just want to stick in P3 and P4?
Yes, I agree. The thing is, if you remember, there were a couple of incidents in the race before, a lot of hot-headed drivers. Of course, the big mess at turn 1 was something that we thought was
You basically
really quite
predicted
massive.
it, isn't it?
Yeah, we thought that was going to happen, and it did happen. And well, surprisingly, JMX Phantom drivers up front, the 2 of them, surprisingly got away from pretty much everything except for 2 back markers, one of which did give way, like how a gentleman would. But the other one, well, they just got caught in between. But thankfully, they still brought home quite a bit of points, 43 points in the Nations Cup for Indonesia.
Hopefully it is going to be a little bit cleaner this time. Obviously there is so much more runoff compared to the Nürburgring, because in the Nürburgring, once you go off, it's basically grass and then, isn't it? But
That's
over
right.
here in Misano, you've got at least some sort of tarmac remaining to bail out of if you need to. Of course, now to the live stream, to the viewers, make your predictions. Who is going to finish in the final podium positions? We have a few in the comments who are sending their congratulations to the drivers. So right before the race starts, make your predictions. Who will win this race and who do you think will be in the podium?
That's right, we are coming to the last corner. It will be very interesting, and I can't wait to see a little bit of chaos. I'm pretty sure there will be, as you can tell.
We already have a camera ready on turn 1.
We are ready for some busyness happening here. Busyness. So it should be quite interesting. I'm pretty sure JMX Phantom drivers will be very in the clear.
It's green. The drivers are now making their way to turn 1. Fadli Rahmat still in P1, defending his position well. Let's take a look at turn 1. Looks like one of the green cars has gone off. Another car has gone off. There has been some sort of collision.
Yes, unfortunately, there is a bit of excursion.
We've got lots of cars going off at turn 2.
Yes, that is quite significant, as we would
Russell Reyes
expect.
has just made a move on Nigel Troy. Not sure what happened there. Russell Reyes running wide. Nigel Troy has gotten the position
That's
back.
right, a little bit of excursion from Nigel Troy.
Oh no, Jay Wong. That's Jay Wong who has just spun around.
It is quite significant, but I'm still seeing green flags being flown from time to time, but it looks like it is a yellow flag currently, and oh dear.
We have a number of drivers who have already gotten drive-through penalties.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
my
That's a big
goodness.
shame, really. And who's in? Well, the thing is, what's going on right now?
We are still waiting for them to update the leaderboard. We
That's
have
right.
Wicked over here. There seems to be some sort of battle here between Tanathip and one of the other cars.
That's right.
Fadli Rahmat and Avila Baha making it out of turn 1. Nice and smooth.
Congratulations to them. I'm pretty sure they will hold this position for quite a while. The gap right now is well, second almost.
Now would you look at that, Muhammad Tasbi, he has made his way up to P3.
Yes.
Just within lap 1. I think he did start P6 at the start of this race, and he is already up to P3, just in front of Nigel Chua and Russell Reyes.
That's right. Now they are crossing the line. We are going for another lap. As you can tell, just 28 minutes left into the race. It is quite interesting. A couple of drivers just now we saw did get drive-through penalties for the little mess, or would I call it little? It was quite significant in turn 1. So surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, GMX Phantom is out up ahead, and well, we are not seeing the same positions as we saw previously. We have Muhammad Tasbih, who is an entrant at the top.
Once again, you can see Nigel Chua right in front of Russell Reyes. I think Russell Reyes is trying to attack Nigel Chua again. Not sure what their tactic will be this time because they have already lost one position. So it's really up to Russell Reyes and Nigel Chua at this point to decide, you know, what kind of approach they're going for. Because, you know, in karting, some of these drivers, they actually sit back, they actually signal to the driver behind to stay back, let me set my times, let me set a fast lap, you know, so you stay behind, let's stop fighting each other, so that we can minimize the time loss to the guys in front. So I wonder if that is what Nigel Chua and Russell Reyes are going to be doing.
Yes, I believe that might be the, well, at least from Russell Reyes' position, because from the last race, I did notice that he was taking a little bit of a step back. He wasn't really being aggressive or trying to make a move.
We have the Aston going a little bit sideways. I thought he was going to go off for a moment there.
It is, I mean, yeah, we have Andrei Abruski. That was quite scary. Thankfully, he's still in the race and he is in P7. And he ran from Tarmac in those spots now in P5. I really like the delivery.
Look at that. Now we have the Porsche of Fikri Askar.
That's right, and well, there is quite a bit of a fight happening in the lower positions. It is quite significant, if you ask me. And look at that,
Russell Reyes is now attacking Nigel Chua. Like I mentioned earlier, you know what kind of strategy are they looking at? But Russell Reyes is attacking Nigel Chua. He is not sitting back.
He looks like he's taken B4. I believe he has taken B4.
I think they are going sideways.
There we go. He has taken a little bit of an excursion to get in front of Nigel Chua.
There we go. Russell Reyes has just overtaken Nigel Chua.
That's right. Nigel Chua is going from the outside. No, he's not going for an attack. He should be watching, and well, he has to keep his head cool. Doesn't have that, well, he has to really, because these become quite significant.
Let's take a look at the replay here between Jay Wong and one of the Astons.
Oh, there we go. That is I think this was the first lap. It was quite significant. Oh dear, everyone's trying to get back into the track. A lot of excursions.
Whoa, that is a lot of chaos. Oh, and he hits another Ferrari.
That's right. That's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Now we are back into the race. Nigel Chua, we are focusing on Nigel Chua here. He looks like he's not going, well, he's not going to let Russell Reyes get away with that overtake. He is very close. He's not taking a break.
Now, I would understand Nigel's frustrations, but you know, if I were Nigel, I would start to think about sitting back and letting Russell Reyes do the work, because you know, if they continue like this, they are going to start losing time to Tasbih and the two other guys in front of Fadi Rahman.
Oh dear, that's a complete waste. That was a big excursion. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of places being left out. Now, I'm not too sure what happened there. Was it Wilton, Jay Wong right in front, who tapped him a little bit? But I didn't really focus on that. Now we are back at the front. Now, the front is very interesting because Nigel Chua is putting on quite a bit of a show. He is pushing Russell Reyes. He might, I believe, take a little bit of a backseat. That would be the best solution, I feel, because as you can tell from the previous race at the Nürburgring, more interesting things happen later on, especially when you get to the back markers, which I believe will happen. It should be quite interesting and it will give you more opportunities later on. Now, do you think Russell Reyes then would try to get into the podium? Because that was a very aggressive move from Russell Reyes earlier to get that position. I did not see that back in the Nürburgring. I think he was taking quite a bit of a chill pill and sitting in his position, but perhaps later on he might do that.
I think, you know, Russell Reyes is definitely pushing much harder this time around. As we saw in the Nürburgring, he was sitting behind Nigel Chua a bit. Not sure, was it due to a lack of pace, or was it he was trying to sit back and let Nigel do the work. But you know, now that Russell Reyes is in P4, I think he has the power to really challenge for the final podium position, because Tasby, who is less than a second behind, I think he is waiting to wait for Tasby to make a mistake.
That's right. I do you think that Tasby will make a mistake? I think it might happen later on. This is not a curse, but I think with how clean the racing was earlier on in the last round, and perhaps Russell Reyes pushing a little bit hard later on, just before the back markers get in the way, it should be quite interesting.
And we are here with Andreas Yudhistira for Auto Clutch ID. He is driving the Porsche. He is in P14, right behind En Chin Song.
That's right. Now the thing is, I did notice Russell Reyes' gap with Mohamed Tasbi just now.
Oh no!
Oh dear, that is
what just happened there?
Oh dear, that was complete waste. Do you notice what happened?
Oh my goodness, we need to see a replay of that. I think it looked like Russell Reyes tried to cut into Mohamed Tasbi's line. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yes, that's very unfortunate. Now, I can't even see him in the positions right now. We will check on him later on, but we are currently in P6.
I think Russell Reyes was trying to attack Tasbi, but I think, not really sure what happened there. Did Russell Reyes not see Tasbi? I see him cutting back into Tasbi's line. I'm not sure what happened there, but I think Nigel will be pretty happy at this point. That's one car down.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Nigel is breathing a sigh of relief, because now his focus is on Mohamed Tasbi. This should be interesting.
Nigel Choi is right behind Mohamed Tasbi. He is. Exactly. I think he is attacking. He's on the inside. He is looking. Mohamed Tasbi just letting that position. He knows he can't do anything about it anymore. Nigel Chua is back in P3. Fantastic. What a move by Nigel.
That's right. Thai driver Kanatip is at the back. He is just watching and seeing if something would go wrong. It should be quite interesting, and that would just bring him up.
Oh no, if we take a look at the leaderboard again, we see Russell Reyes in P21. He is in the pits, and like I mentioned earlier, once you are in the pits, you are in trouble, because it is only a 30-minute sprint race. If you were to pit, you are in trouble.
That's right. Now the thing is, Russell Reyes has this gear quickly quite interesting where he's going. No, he is going down the positions right now. That is really unfortunate. I was really looking forward to what he would do. And of course, Nigel Chua's persistent maneuvers previously earlier in the race was quite interesting. It was quite entertaining. But we are seeing a fight right now between Kanatik, Mohamed Tasbi, and Nigel Chua.
I think from that tangle earlier on, they really lost a lot of time to the top two guys, Fadli Rahman and Abdullah Baha, once again setting really consistent laps and basically staying out of trouble, because Nigel is now 3.5 seconds behind, obviously losing more and more time as the race goes on.
Yes.
So Nigel really has to step it up because of we've got a Bentley making a move on the Lexus.
That's really unfortunate. It was almost comedic.
I think
that was a bit unnecessary.
He really went for a dive bomb there, isn't it?
That's right. I think it's a bit unnecessary.
No, I wouldn't think about going for a move there, to be honest. That is from a high speed, down to a.
And if you try something like that, you just destroy your race, and then there's a very high chance that you just mess up. And I think that was really quite unnecessary. He probably will be sitting at the back later on.
I think they saw a gap, and for some reason they basically decided to send it from all the way back. Not exactly what you want to do.
Exactly. Let's go for the replay here. Russell Reyes and of course Mohamed Tasbih. Mohamed Tasbih is behind. He taps Russell Reyes, and that puts him out of the race. I'm not too sure. From my angle, or at least from our angle just now, it just seems like that was a little bit unnecessary from Mohamed Tasbih, but really I can't tell. Perhaps Russell Reyes was.
The stewards will have to take a look at that again. Was Mohamed Tasbih holding his line, or did Russell Reyes cut into Mohamed Tasbih's line? I think Russell Reyes was trying to cover off Tasbih, but he did not see that
Yeah, he did. I don't think so. I think it was quite clear cut. Russell Reyes was right in front. But I don't actually know what was the incident before that. Perhaps, there was something going on because we sort of cut into the action, and it could be quite interesting when we get on later in the race and more information comes about. Now, we are, well, just outside of the points.
We are seeing a little bit of a battle here for the top, for 12th position actually. So we have Arvin Taruna in P12 fighting with the Porsche earlier. Not sure who that Porsche was, but we can see that these drivers are really pushing.
Jay Wong is in 25th position. Very unfortunate incident, which I believe he was involved with earlier today, right? If I remember correctly.
He was starting in the top 10 actually.
That's
really good
right.
position, but because of that incident at the start, I think that really dropped him back. And we see that the cars at the back already have lots of damage. Not sure, why is that so?
Yes, perhaps. I'm not too sure if it was an incident at turn 1 or a little bit of damage from tapping other amateur drivers. It could be very interesting later on if we see some of the replays, the catch and the replays, of course.
Now we're just looking at Muhammad Andrea Bureski. Now these drivers are, not sure what happened to them in round 1, but here they are in round 2. They are fighting for the top positions this time. Again, here we are back with Andreas Wolf. There seems to be a little bit of battle going on between the Ferrari and the Lexus at the back. They are going side by side. Now this is actually quite scary. I'm not a big fan of going side by side at this section here, because you are very high speed, and like I mentioned earlier, you have to brake in a straight line and then turn, because if you try and brake and turn at the same time, you will spin off. So to be battling over there, it will be quite a risk to take.
Did I see Tanate doing a bit of an excursion early on? We are in Andrea Briske's car. There was a bit of excursion from him. I think
this is the second time we've seen him gone off actually. The last time we saw him go off at the final corner, and he has went off again.
Yes, it is quite interesting. Now, very, very interesting racing that is happening right now. Quite a bit of incidents that we caught on camera and we talked about.
It is almost halfway through the race. There is 16 minutes remaining. Of course, this is a 30-minute sprint race. There is no need for pit stops. Once again, if you are making a pit stop, you are in trouble.
Yes.
So definitely not thinking of doing a pit stop here. So really, it is quite a task to be making sure you do not get yourself involved in any incidents, because if you have to pit for repairs, that's your race gone.
Yeah,
unless you're talking about an endurance race, right?
Yes, that's
in
right.
an endurance race, you've got many laps. Let's say maybe the 24 hours.
That's right.
Even if you were to make a mistake, you've got a little bit of damage on your next pit stop, you can repair it, and you don't actually lose too much because the gaps are so big.
There was a bit tap. That was quite actually. It was quite significant actually.
This is a battle between Andy Ngan and Jay Wong. Andy Ngan has made the move on Jay Wong. I think there was a bit of a tap, wasn't there?
There was, and I'm not too sure if it was significant, but Jay Wong did have a bit of an excursion on the gravel there, or the grass. Now, quite a bit of runoffs here, which is great. But, well, I didn't see a blue flag, so I think we are starting to see quite a bit of back markers getting into the racing here. I'm pretty sure the people in the podium position right now are facing those issues.
Jay Wong over here right behind him. I think he is keeping up with Andy Ngan actually. I'm not sure if he is looking to make a move on Andy Ngan later on in the race. We are halfway through, so for those of you who are just tuning in, this is round 2 of the Legion of Racers Online League Season 2021, presented by Tarmac Works. So we are halfway through round 2 here at Misano. We have Fadli Rahman in P1, Avila Baha in P2, Nigel Chua, the Malaysian, here in P3, followed by Muhammad Tasbi in P4, the Singaporean. Of course, we have Russell Reyes earlier challenging for the final podium position, but because of an incident with Muhammad Tasbi, I think the stewards will be looking into that later on.
That's right. Now, we might receive an update on that perhaps, but I'm pretty sure that is something that should be looked at, because at least from my angle, it it looked a bit, well, a little bit unnecessary, but I might be wrong. Now, we are in Tarmac's car right now. He is doing quite well. Alone, was the only driver, well, representing Thailand. He was doing really quite well.
Tarmac is in a bit of a sandwich here. He's got Muhammad Andri Abireski right in front of him and Wukit Low right behind him. So cars in front and behind of him. So he had, oh wait, is he making a move on Muhammad Andri Abireski?
That was a bit unnecessary. Now he has lost also a position because with that little tap, that little, that move could have gotten him into trouble, but
I was just about to say, you know what is Tarmac gonna do? He is in a bit of a sandwich. He has Wukit right behind him.
It is.
You know what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go defensive or is he gonna attack? And it turns out he went for the attack, and he has unfortunately spun Muhammad Andri Abireski around, and Wukit basically at the back watching the whole thing happen in front of him, and he has gained 2 positions because of that, up to P5. So I guess sometimes, you know, to take things nice and slow and wait for other people to make mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps that could be the thing. Now we're looking at Fadli Rahmat and Villa Baha. They're doing quite well for JMX Phantom. Up ahead, it's, well, I'm pretty sure they might be getting a bit bored really right now because for 2 races in a row now, they have kept MP1 and MP2.
Now this is actually quite interesting. Both of them are still so close to each other. They are basically on par when it comes to pace.
Yes, that's right. Perhaps, you know, they are just having a little bit of fun with each other, having a conversation perhaps, because if you ask me, with that view up ahead that they are having, it should be quite relaxing. Now, here we go.
That's, I think that's a back marker. He is flashing his lights. Wait, no, that's that doesn't look like a back marker at all. Why is he flashing his lights?
Might be because he needs a bit of entertainment. Perhaps he's looking at the live stream right now. He realizes that he is on camera, so he decides to say hi to all of you fellas on TikTok. Of course, this is P9 now. Still in the points.
Oh, he's just gone wide.
Perhaps he's looking at TikTok. Stream on TikTok, but yes, it's quite interesting here. Let's be honest. Yeah, I am seeing blue flags right now.
Yeah, I think with only 11 minutes left in the race, these guys in front, I think they are encountering some of these back markers right now.
Yes, it could get quite interesting because the thing is, as you can tell, there are some areas where you don't want to go too in. Right? 2 people attacking the corners because it can become very dangerous, and we've been seeing that. And Wukit Low is one guy who has, well, gotten the best out of it early on because of an incident ahead with Tarmac. And, well, he's enjoying his race, I'm pretty sure. Now we're back with Andri Abireski. Had a bit of a spin just now, but both him and Tarmac are still racing.
Well, he is closing in on him. He is closing in on him. Not sure what Tarmac is going to do this time. Hopefully not spin him around again. That was a bit of a mistake by Tarmac. Let's take a look at the replay here.
There
we have
Tarmac went in
diving on the inside
just a little bit,
oh.
and both. Well, it looks almost like
It looks a bit of a late move, isn't it?
It is. It's
I don't think
really
Muhammad Andri Abireski could do anything there. I don't think he was expecting him to make such a late move.
It is. The thing is, sometimes you just want to close the door on the guy behind you, but at the same time, you're going to cause a bit of problems here. Now, the thing is, I keep seeing this Bentley. It reminds me a lot of Russell Reyes.
I'm not sure who that is actually. He is on pace and doesn't seem like he is competing for the top positions. If we take a look at the leaderboard here, the next fastest Bentley is in P13.
That's right.
So not sure who that Bentley is. It might be Russell Reyes, you know, who is trying his best to salvage whatever he can. But of course, from that crash we saw earlier, you know, I don't think he can get back in the points in time within 10 minutes.
It is quite unfortunate.
Alternative, he is behind.
Yeah, I thought I saw him take a move, but it could be quite. There we go.
Oh,
very
going a little bit sideways.
It looks like he is going for it. He is going to push.
He's really pushing hard. He's really pushing hard.
That's right, 9 minutes, and Tarmac is going to bring some points for Thailand. That is for sure.
We do have a few fans from Malaysia in the comments saying, "Go Malaysia." So do put in the comments who you're supporting, what country you're supporting. But of course here we have in the top 2 positions Avila Baha and Fadli Rahmat, both of them. Fadli Rahmat in P1, Avila Baha in P2, bringing in good points, maximum points actually.
That's right. Okay, we got
Indonesia.
a bit of a back marker here. We have the NSX right in front of them. So I'm pretty sure with their pace, they will catch up to the NSX very soon. If something happens, it will be quite interesting because Nigel Chua is, well, in sight.
Nigel Chua is, he is pushing hard. We can see him. He is just behind Avila Baha, just 2 seconds behind. So not too far off actually. Within 8 minutes, you can still make up 2 seconds. So you definitely don't want to be making too big of a move on your teammate. Provided Avila Baha wants to take that P1.
Yes.
Not sure what JMX is going to do here. Will they, do a little bit of a switcheroo or anything? Or are they going to let them fight, or are they going to ask them to, sit back and get maximum points for the team?
I agree. I think they need a bit of communication here. What's going on? The thing is, Fadli Rahman is giving him a bit of a flash.
And that's the NSX.
There we go. He's giving way to 2 of them. Thankfully, no incidents here. Green flag. We are going for. Well, I guess there might be an incident later on.
If you take a look at, if you remember from round 1, they were able to get past the back markers pretty well until the final moment.
That's right.
Where Fadli Rahman actually hit one of the back markers, but he still, went to finish P2 in the first round. So that was actually pretty impressive.
It is. The thing is, I'm getting a little bit confused with the spectator because occasionally I do see a red flag flying around.
Yes, I think that confused me a little bit. I was wondering, is there a red flag? But no, that's just one of the spectators waving a red flag. Look, we have a guy at the back waving a red flag and a purple flag.
Yes, it is quite, well, I guess it's very chaotic in the spectator stand. The virtual spectator stand, it is.
Now, if we take a look at the Nations Cup again, we do have Indonesia in P1 with 43 points. Now, if Fadli Rahman and Avila Baha are going to be finishing P1 and P2 again, there's going to be massive points in the back for Indonesia. But of course, we have Nigel Chua and Bukit Loh, both from Malaysia, who are bringing in good points as well in P3 and P5, provided they finish there at the end of the race. Not sure if Bukit is going to be making another move for Muhammad Tasbih, but we have Muhammad Tasbih as well, bringing in some points for Singapore.
We are looking at Ternatip. He is getting very close to Muhammad Brizgi. It could be quite interesting, and I can tell he is a bit of, well, he is quite aggressive. He's going sideways occasionally,
He's really pushing hard this time.
There you go. He put a bit of an excursion. He might have pushed a little bit too hard over there. Now, hopefully he doesn't get any penalties for that, because a little bit more excursions and it might be some seconds on his time, or even worse, well, a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, they have to take note here not to run too wide, because if you run wide and you have all 4 wheels off the track, hold on, there is a bit of battle going on here at the back between Fikri Askar and one of the Mercedes there of Inigo Anton. But Inigo Anton has defended pretty well from Fikri Askar, but there's only 5 minutes remaining. I think Inigo Anton will want to defend for his P19 position. Wait, hold on. Was there another move being made on Fikri Askar?
Possibly. There was one move, and look, it seems like, yes, the Bentley, I'm pretty sure, somehow I just feel that might be Russell Reyes. I can't really catch the number. So, back into the race here with Ternatip. He is keeping very, very close to Brizgi. Now, I hope that Brizgi doesn't make a mistake, because it is quite threatening to see a man black 17 years just sitting behind you and cheating, just waiting for you to make a little bit of a mistake.
There is a bit of a train here for P6. Right behind P6, we do have a train of cars that are competing for position. We have Ternatip Tanalapanan, who is right behind Andrei Abureski. He wants to make that move. He wants that final P6 position. He tried once, he failed. Yes. I think he does want to go for that move again, but we do have Sam in the Lambo right behind, followed by Yudhishthira and Arvind Taruna.
That's right. Now, the thing is, in P7, if Hanatip stays there, he will put 6
Oh, Nigel is getting close.
It is. He is getting close. It could be quite interesting. Oh dear. Oh dear, this is quite interesting.
Where did Nigel come from? There was 3-second gap. You know, like I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of time to catch up. 2 seconds, and he is right up the bumper of Fadli Rahman. I think Abdullah Baha did make a move on Fadli Rahman. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know what? Oh no, Fadli Rahman has just gone wide.
You see, I think the pressure is a little bit on because the thing is, the guys at JMX Phantom were enjoying quite a very clean race. I have a feeling though, it might have been a back marker which caused this problem right now. And the thing is, Nigel Chua is really pushing. Perhaps Nigel Chua really had a plan. He really wanted just to sit back and watch what was going on. If it was an incident early on, it is paying off right now. We are at 3 minutes into the end of this race, and well, good job on Nigel Chua. This is a very, very good place to be in. And interestingly enough, we are seeing the same positions as the last race with Ravila Baha in P1, Fadli Rahman in P2, and Nigel Chua in P3. Unfortunately, Russell Reyes is not here.
But of course, a very good result for Muhammad Tasbi. He did finish P6 in the previous race, and he is now in P4. You know, 2 positions better, and definitely lots more points to come with that.
That's right. Very, very interesting. But the thing is, the cars are so close. I don't know what is going to happen because it seems like Nigel Chua will just try to push a little bit. I would, that's for sure. You know, that's a lot that you can win from here. Let's see. The thing is, you can see Nigel Chua just peeking out of behind the 720S of Fadli Rahman. Perhaps just taking a good look at what's going on and seeing if the 2 guys in front in JMX Phantom might be making a little bit of a mistake.
Right behind Fadli Rahman, they're almost making contact, but of course these drivers are professionals. They know what they're doing. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Oh, there
what happened?
Go. Let's see. Back markers.
It is back markers.
Back markers just sitting, and I don't know.
That is one of the Bentleys, if I'm not wrong. There is a Bentley that has just impeded the JMX.
Yes, and of course,
so Abdullah Baha made use of that.
Let's see a view from here. Oh, this, I thought it was a replay actually. I thought that this was a view of what was going on and how Nigel got into position. But as you can tell, this is quite interesting. Nigel is in very, very close range.
We do have a battle for P1 now. You know, these drivers are very close to each other. There's 1 minute remaining. Anything can happen since these guys are so close to each other.
That's
Although,
right.
Oh no, we have a drive-through penalty for Muhammad Andrea Bureski. I would assume that is for cut track warnings. Like I mentioned earlier, if you exceed 4 times, you will get a drive-through penalty, and I think that's just what happened.
Yes, I think there was quite a bit of a significant excursion that we saw earlier on. The thing is, now anything can happen because I do see some back markers. They are quite close, and these guys.
Look at that.
There is no way that these guys are not pushing because Nigel Chua is indeed pushing, and for you to keep that gap, you really do have to push. 31 seconds left. It could be quite interesting if the JMX boys do catch up to the back markers, and then that's pretty much it. But let's see if that happens. Do you think that will happen? Do you think we still have a bit of road left for that to happen?
Oh, the GMX cars are actually missing the apex there on that last corner. I think they are feeling the pressure a bit.
That's right, they're feeling the pressure. Thankfully, we are going to cross the line, and JMX Phantom is going to cross the line in P1.
Are they going to do another lap? Not sure. Let's see. Do they cross the line first?
Oh dear, yes, thankfully. That was incredibly close.
That was so
faster,
close.
And they would have to
go for another lap.
Another lap. That I'm pretty sure the GMX boys are very thankful.
That. Oh my goodness.
That was incredibly close. That was incredibly close. I mean, that was just a second, perhaps. You know. Oh dear, if that happened, I think if they went for another
lap, you know, the GMX cars might be in trouble.
They might be into trouble because of the back markers.
Now let's take a look at the results here. This is the end of the race. We have Avila Baha in P1, Fadli Rahman in P2, and Nigel Chua in P3, exactly as how it was in round 1. So we have the same podium as round 1, followed by Muhammad Tasbi, who has improved from P6 to P4 from the last round.
That's
followed
right.
by Wicked Low from Malaysia. He is doing phenomenal here in round 2. As we see him in the background, actually, he's doing a few donuts. If you notice.
I think he's a little bit excited. I don't know who's not excited. Russell Reyes, I don't see him anywhere here. Very unfortunate. We don't know what happened. Perhaps there will be an update later on. Perhaps in the next race we will update you. It is quite interesting what happened there. We saw very
close racing.
Very scary racing. I was expecting, honestly, Nigel Chua to take perhaps P2 or even P1. That was quite close, isn't it?
Yeah, again, JMX getting involved with the back markers, very unlucky, but of course, not too bad this time around, because in round 1, Fadli Rahmat did actually make contact with a back marker, obviously able to avoid making contact with any of the back markers this time round, but we are getting the same podium as round 1. These guys are really pushing hard. Now JMX is once again another dominant drive from JMX from round 1 and round 2, both of them P1 and P2. Although Avila Bahar did make that final move on Fadli Rahmat thanks to the back markers.
Yes,
but we see that actually Fadli Rahmat has been in front of Avila Bahar the whole time. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in the next few races. Although, of course, we do have a few more rounds left to go. We have 3 more rounds left to go, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. It was very interesting. Actually, it's funny because I think we almost predicted what was going to happen in the race.
Exactly.
JMX Phantom in front, back markers causing a bit of chaos. And of course, as you can tell, we do have the replay, so we now know what actually happened. And our predictions came true. It was quite an exciting race.
What a race that was.
And
I think
the fact that they crossed the line just right after the time, went to 0. Thankfully, it could have been quite interesting. The thing is, it will be more interesting in, a week or more.
Yes.
28th July is Silverstone. Now, Silverstone is, I do love Silverstone. Big fan of Silverstone. It is going to be very interesting. The same drivers that you saw earlier on. What do you think?
5.891 kilometers this time, a little bit longer than Misano, 18 turns, and once again Silverstone, another very interesting track because you've got maggots and Beckett's. That corner is a little bit tricky. There could be some moves being made over there, but it would be a little bit tricky for them because it's very fast. It's a left, it's a right, it's another left, and then another right, and then followed by a straight. So there might be some moves being made over there. Not sure. We will see you guys next week and see what happens.
That's right. So do stay tuned. 28th July at Silverstone for the LOR Online League, brought to you by Tarmac Works, of course. Thanks to all our sponsors for making this happen. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit tired because of the amount of racing that we were seeing.
There was a lot of action there, wasn't there?
A lot of action, and I can't wait to see more. I'm pretty sure some of you will too. Yes. We will see you guys in the next round, 28th July. Goodbye.